नाराए तकबीर, नाराए तकबीर, नाराए रिसालत, सुलेमान अला हादरी, कसमत बीबी पाक फातिमा ज़हरा सलामुल्लाह अलैहा पर सलावत।
Before we begin today's lecture, as always, please I request you to recite from times for the Fatiha, from times for the class for all our shah and Allah's people around the world, and also all of the Muslims. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على رسول الثقلين محبوب رب المشرقين والمغربين وجد الحسن والحسين مولانا أبي القاسم محمد وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المظلومين ولعنة الله على أعدائهم أجمعين أما بعد بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم عليك مني سلام الله أبدا ما بقيت وبقي الليل والنهار ولا جعل الله آخر العهد مني لزيارتكم صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. Alhamdulillah, again we are starting for the second day of Muharram. Yesterday, for those who were not present, we talked about the definition of the word Karbala and understanding the message of Karbala and the importance of these nights. Indeed, with your permission, we want to move on and start looking at a few lessons from Karbala and understanding more about Karbala. I began today a few lines from Ziyarat Ashura, which translate to peace of Allah be upon you from me forever. Talking about Allah. Peace be upon you from me forever. As long as I am in existence and as long as there is day and there is night. And make sure that this ziyarat of mine that we're doing, every ziyarat that we do, please make sure it's not our last one. Make sure that even in the hereafter we do the ziyarat of Allah. With this topic, we're trying to look at the resilience of Karbala. The story and the lessons of resilience that we see in Abu Abdullah ibn Hussein. And no matter how much the hardship that he had, the difficulties that he had, the power that he kept, and the strength that he kept throughout all of the periods is what we're going to look at. Now there's many different types of resilience that we see through Abu Abdullah, through the family of Abu Abdullah. The first one being the spiritual resilience. What do we mean by spiritual resilience? It means sticking to your faith, sticking to your amal, sticking to what matters to you most, which is your beliefs. Yeah? No matter what happened to Abu Abdullah ibn Hussein in Karbala, no matter what came in his way, he always put Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala first. Right? In every action. But you know what's more important than just him keeping that resilience? If you look at all of the shuhada, from Ali Asghar to Abu Abdullah, no matter what happened, everyone had that in their hearts that they're here for the sake of saving Islam, for being close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and keeping that strength in their heart no matter who comes in front of them. And this resilience is what is important for us. No matter the hunger, the thirst, the difficulty. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, why am I here? It's because I'm standing for the truth. I'm standing for what is right no matter what comes in my way. No matter what. You know, Imam Hussein had the chance to save his life. Right? And that comes on to our second resilience that we see. The moral and ethical resilience of Abu Abdullah. Yeah? He knew what was right, morally and ethically. That he's never going to give up to what is wrong. He's never going to give in to those people who believe in the wrong. Right? his family and said, look, Yazid, okay, I give you money. But despite everything, he knew what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had willed for him to happen. What he knew was supposed to happen. What was written for him to happen. He said, I don't care about whatever's easy for me. I don't care what's going to happen, what's easy, what will save me. I care what's right and what's truthful. Right? No matter what you put on my head, no matter if you promise me gold, if you promise me money, you promise me wealth or status. For us, this is a strong message as well, right? We've got to look in our lives today. If someone's going to come and stand up to us, for example, especially our women, right? When they have an opportunity to join a new job, if someone asks them, for example, take off your hijab, we'll give you the job. That happens these days. We see, there's many big roles, maybe in government jobs and things like that. They might ask you, remove your veil, remove your scarf, right? But those people who are the Husseini women, those people who are the followers of Abu Abdullah, of Bibi Zainab, Bibi Fatima, Zahra, Salamullahi alayhi, right? Their moral and ethical resilience is that, look, I don't care how much this job will pay me. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ensures if I stay with Him, I stay with the truth, He will give me a better reward than this job can ever give me. That's our moral and ethical resilience. That's what we need to think about. Okay? Spiritually, we need to be strong. Stay with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Stay with the Ahlul Bayt. Morally and ethically. Okay? We move on to the next one. Third one. Emotionally resilient. How can we stay emotionally resilient? Look at Karbala. Look at the women of Karbala. Okay? When we're talking about the women of Karbala, what have they done? What is their act in Karbala? They are willingly for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, saying to their young children, prepare yourselves for death. Prepare yourselves for Karbala, and no matter what comes in the way, make sure that you go first. Every woman is saying this. Send my child first. Look at that resilience. Look at that emotional strength that they have in their hearts. Imagine someone asks you today, your children are with you today, right? Imagine someone asks you, can you give your child, your young child that you raise, that you spend your time with, your efforts with, would you send them knowingly that they're going to be killed? For us, it would be very difficult. We can't, send our children, send, the people that we have our hearts connected to. But these women in Karbala, Abu Abdullah and Hussein in Karbala, he's giving his most precious thing, no matter how much it saddens him and that breaks his heart. Yeah. We see when he's carrying a Yasir back from the battlefield, he walks back and forth. That heart that breaks of Abu Abdullah and Hussein. But still he's content, he's resilient. He's saying, no, look, I don't care how much they're going to hurt me. Let them. I'm saying with all my heart, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, take until you're pleased. Take from me whatever you need to take. Emotionally, that strength needs to be there. For the azadar of Abu Abdullah and Hussein, that strength we need to have emotionally. Sometimes we lose it. Sometimes we can't let go of our most precious things. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying Himself, when you give the most precious thing to you. We all know that there's this famous story that many scholars narrate. And they say that there was a shop, and there was a shopkeeper who was selling watermelon. Yeah. And a poor person came to that stall and he said, I don't have any money, but whatever you can give me, please. He says, I have this pile of some fruits that have been here for a while. You can take something from that. Right? And then the poor person, he goes to the fruit, he finds this little rotten little pieces of fruit, picks it up and takes it home, and he's content. He's happy. But when we look at that shopkeeper, he feels like he's doing good. He feels like, he's proud of himself, saying, look, I gave something to the poor. That night when he fell asleep, he had a dream. And he saw a man. That man said to him, are you sure that you're content with the actions that you did today? Are you sure that you're truly happy with what you did today? He says, yes, I I gave the person fruit. That man then reminded him, if you were that poor person, if you had to take that fruit back to your family, that rotten fruit, how would you feel? This lesson again is shown within the story. He could have given the best of fruit, and then indeed he'd be content with his action. This is what we need to do. Emotionally, be resilient, be strong. No matter if you lose your most precious thing, give it in the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And say, Allah, I'm giving this in your name, and I know with tawakkul, I trust you that indeed you will return something back even better. MashaAllah. This is what we need to realize. And now we look at all of these aspects, all of this resilience in terms of what we need to do today. What is our action? The legacy of resilience. For the Shia of Allah, what is the legacy of resilience? Is every year coming to these Majlis. Every year bringing your children. Every year dressing in the black. Every year having this azab, right? Having this sinazan, having these tears. All of these things that we do year in, year out. Whether, those people who started, who have passed away, our elders who started, this Majlis here in our centers. Even though they're not here, what is that famous thing that we're always saying? No matter if we're alive or we're dead, this azab will continue. This is our resilience. This is the legacy of resilience that we need to uphold. Like we saw when I started in Ziyarat Ashura. What is it that says? About Abdullah Hussain, you'll remember you, even though if we're not here, if it's day and there's night, the azab will continue. The remembrance will continue. This resilience, no matter what happens. Right now you're seeing the state of the world. You're seeing people being oppressed. You're seeing majalises being stopped, especially for those who are well known, Pakistan and India, right? It's mashhur. It's like, well known that people are trying to stop the azab over it. They're trying to distribute it, say, you can't do this, you can't read the Ziyarat Ashura on speakers, you can't do. Let them put as many barriers down. Let them put as many laws down. But make sure, no matter what you do, don't let it stop you. Because your purpose is for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Their purpose is just to please the world. That's the difference. This resilience of Allah, as long as it's in your heart, no matter who turns away from you, no matter the barriers that come to you, you need to ensure Abba Abdullah Hussain is content, Fatima Zahra is content, the Holy Prophet of Islam is content, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is content. This is our goal, this is the reason that we're here, this is our purpose. People say the purpose of life is just so we can go, Allah will give us some trials and tribulations and we go back. No, you're not just a normal Muslim. You're not just a normal person. You are the Shia of Allah. Your purpose is so high that you don't even understand. You don't understand what you have behind you. The support of the Ahlul Bayt, their lessons, their sacrifices. Not only is it for Islam, but it's for you. Look at what they've done for you. What are we doing back? Abba Abdullah Hussain, his famous quotes are, when my Shia, when my people drink water, remember me. He's directing it to us. When someone of yours passes away or you're in tragedy, remember my tragedy. He's talking to you. And it's not only Abba Abdullah Hussain. Look at Fatima Zahra. You cry for my son Hussain, Abba Abdullah, on these nights. I will ensure that when it comes to the day of judgment, if anything is missing or anything is lost, I will look after you. I will say, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, these are my Shia. They cried for my son Abba Abdullah Hussain. They came and did the azan. They came and read the salah. What did she say in her famous khutbah as well? As long as you do the wajibat, you stay away from the haram, I ensure you, I will look after you. These Ahlul Bayt alayhimu salatu wassalam are standing up in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for your sake. So now it's our duty, in these 2 months, in these 10 nights, with our resilience, with our power, no matter if we're tired in the day after work, no matter if there's things that come in the way, come to the azab of Abdullah. And this is then when we say, Labbaik Ya Hussain. This is our form of labbaik ya Hussein, not only in our words but within our actions. With this resilience, let's go to Karbala. Like we have mentioned already, like we've heard already, the second of Muharram, Abdullah Hussein is now entering. He's left everything behind. He's left his grandfather. He's left his mother. Right? He's left his hut. And he's come to this land. We see in the tradition that says Abdullah Hussein reaches a point in Karbala and he stops. He looks around the land. He asks, what is this land? Lots of people give different names. Some gives Nepal, some gives another name, some gives another name. Finally, someone says this is the land of Karbala. Abdullah looks to Hazrat Abbas and says, Hazrat Abbas, this is where we're meant to be. This is our destination. And this is that destination where I'm not sure we're going to turn back from. So Abbas, first we see in the tradition, it says Abbas set up the tents near the river, near the forest. Right? But then we see that the army of Yazid is already present in that state. Some of them have already started entering Karbala. What are they saying? They say, no, you can't keep your tents here. You can't keep it near the water. We won't give you that access. That's when Hazrat Abbas gets angry. That's when you see the fierceness of Hazrat Abbas. He grabs out his sword. He draws a line. He says, any of you who have the strength, come and cross this line. Imam Hussein, look at Imam Hussein here. Look at his heart. Look at his emotional resilience. What does he say? Abbas, we're not here to fight. We're not here to cause a commotion. We're here to stand for the truth. If we start a war now, they will say we started the war for the sake of water. Abbas, we're not fighting now. Move the tents away. Then we see the proper musibah. What do we see? We see Imam Hussein alayhi wasallam telling the women, telling the children, look, this is the land of Karbala. Oh my sisters, and I don't know if we'll leave this land. What happens when Bibi Zainab looks towards Karbala? What did she say? Oh, my brother Abdullah Hussein, I feel this heaviness within my heart. I feel this fear in my heart. I don't know what's going to happen here. I see bloodshed happening on the land of Karbala. I see my children dying here in Karbala. Abdullah Hussein is looking on the field. Ali Akbar will be buried here. Qasim will be buried here. Abbas will be buried here. This is where the arms will be cut. This is where my Sakina will cry, Al-Azhar. This is where the children will cry, Al-Azhar. He goes into Karbala. When everything is set up, he finds the people of Bani Asad. He says to them, oh people of Bani Asad, oh the men of Bani Asad, when we die here in Karbala, I know that the enemy will not bury us. I know that they will leave our pieces on the land of Karbala. If you can, come and bury us in Karbala. He then goes to the women. He says to the women of Bani Asad, oh women, if your men, if these males are not able to bury us, then please, whenever you can, come and bury the bodies of these children. Bury the body of Abdullah. Then he goes on to say to the children of Bani Asad, oh Bani Asad's children, if your parents are not able, then when you are playing in the lands of Karbala, come to the bodies who are laying on the lands of Karbala, and with your small hands grab the sand of Karbala and put it upon our bodies. Make sure that we are not left on this burning sand. Ya Abdullah Hussein, what are our tragedies in front of your tragedies? Look at what happened to you in Karbala. Allah la'natullahi ala qawmi al-zalimin wa siyadahu al-ladhina zalamu lam yunqalibun. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. We raise our hands in dua and we pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with the wasila of the children and the women of Karbala, protect our women and our children. With the wasila of the warriors such as Abbas and Abdullah of Karbala, bless our warriors, our Shia, and the Ahlul Bayt alayhi salatu wassalam. Ya Allah, we pray to you, allow us to be in the companions of our Imam of our time, and allow us to be steadfast on his mission. Sallallahu Alaihi Muhammad